Chaile time. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Chaile Time. Toby, good morning and how are you?
Tepo, well, thank you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing? How you've been doing? What's been happening in your world?
Mirkanama, it's that time of the year.
WSP, RST, what?
No, that's only next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about the launch of this year's Harmony People Network HR conference. Good to Great, G2G. It's all about the AI revolution and how it impacts workplaces. Let's just look at this ad quickly. So I'm excited, very happy. I can't wait. I think it's going to be great. People need to save the date, 10th of September at Kiewitzkroon, Wine Estate. If you do not know Kiewitzkroon Wine Estate, I think it's time that you hit Google and go type in Kiewitzkroon Wine Estate and start getting excited with us. I can't wait. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. We're even contemplating having satellite functions, live streaming in KZN and in Cape Town. Watch the space.
Great things.
Amazing
Great things. No? Very exciting, and I hope all the HR personnel from the Harmony Network people, they'll be excited to join us this year.
Yeah.
I will just say us because I don't know if I'm going to be part of it again this year.
I'd say, but last year I felt so sorry for you. I mean, you always come to the conference, but last year was just crazy. But you did come right at the end when we started handing out the wine.
Yeah, I came at the right time.
So you were there for the important part.
Yeah, but I saw it. Very exciting. And it's in September. Normally you are around July or August, but this one it's in September.
2 years ago it was July, and then last year August, then September. I like the idea of spring, so we're also playing around with the weather and so, but I do think towards the end of August, early September, it's a sweet spot from the weather perspective. So yeah, that's great.
100%. So what's on the news? What's on the news? I saw something about. I'm worried about other people. When I saw this headline, I was like, hey. Maybe people must join Effectus Harmony,
You're talking about the headline about the new labor inspectors, the 10,000 labor inspectors that the Department of Employment and Labor will be employing now in 2026.
Exactly that.
It brings a warm feeling to my heart. It just reinforces why we exist.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good future for us because it comes down to compliance.
Exactly.
So yeah, just some interesting stats there. So going to employ an extra 10,000 labor inspectors. They currently have just over 2,000 labor inspectors. So that's going to bring up the total to just over 12,000 labor inspectors. They are currently doing about 300,000 inspections at workplaces per year. That's going to put it up to 1.6 million.
I know, that's good.
Currently, they say they are able to recoup funds of the amount of about 70 million rand a year of exploited staff. So that's a benefit to the staff, money that goes back to the pocket of employees. But I think from this year, it's going to be exponentially higher. At the end of the day, it's a great win for employees.
Yes.
There's a lot of exploitation going on. A lot of companies are not complying with labor laws. But you know what now? I think it's like tax. You don't always have to pay tax, but you just need correct advice.
What do you mean you don't have to always pay tax?
I'm busy with a certain process at the moment, and I went to speak to my tax consultant last night, and then he started asking me, why do you do this? And not that. Because if you do that, you're not going to pay tax. I'm like,
Okay.
So similarly, with us, when it comes to compliance, a lot of employers have a certain idea of how a certain thing must be. But you need to speak to the people that know. After just a simple sort of illustration, tomorrow evening, as a favor to a friend, she was retrenched, but they're not paying her severance pay. Then somebody told her, look, she's got 30 days to go to the CCMA. And she's now like sort of out of time and she needs to urgently come speak to me. So I said to her, look, and she wanted to speak to me last night. So I said, I can't last night. I'll do it on Thursday evening. But just hold on. The 30 days rule only applies to dismissal disputes. If your dispute is only about your severance pay, it doesn't apply there. But it's the same thing. People get bad advice. They get the incorrect information, you see. So compliance is not always such a big issue. Once you start seeing what compliance is all about, it's obviously important, but it's not always this Achilles heel, man.
Yeah, no, I can relate, because this morning I was having a conversation with our up and coming
our VIP inside there.
Inside there, and then so I was catching, because she went to Durban yesterday.
Actually, the two guys at the CCMA and the MIBC, and yes, she was flying high, yeah?
So we were just having a catch up, and then she was telling me, and then she pulled that cut off. Yeah, there was an exemption. Then I'm like, oh, okay. So now when you talk about these kind of things, they're saying compliance is not a problem, but just do the right thing and get the correct advice. Because I think you were involved in terms of application for that, what you call it now? I just lost this word now. Exemption.
But Tsepo, we're going to deviate badly.
No. I don't know.
Because I actually want to make a podcast on that.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to highlight you to say it relates.
So I'm tempted. I'm holding myself back because I feel like just letting go at employees for doing what they do when it comes to those kind of disputes. But I'm going to hold back. In the next 2-3 weeks, let's do a podcast. And remind me, we need to do a podcast on that.
Yeah.
Because yesterday was unnecessary, to be honest with you. For the employees.
Yes.
Anyway, but listen, you had a case yesterday at Secunda CC, at Witbank MIBC.
Yeah, MIBC.
Talk to me. What happened?
I just experienced, I don't like calling people names, but not so experienced union rep yesterday, because how they approached the case, I was like, I don't know if they didn't expect for someone like me to be there. I don't know what they were expecting, but... And okay, let's start with the employee. The employee was completely lost. Like you could see that it's someone like who's riding on a wrong train.
Yeah.
Yeah, the train is supposed to go to Joburg, but his was going to Soshanguve. And then it's just like, because I think he went and asked for advice, and then they just said, we will run with this case.
Yes.
Yeah, without doing proper checks. So it was a straightforward case of someone who tested positive for alcohol when they reported for duty. But now they went, and when they go to the CCMA, we narrow down the issues. They don't dispute the fact that the guy tested positive for alcohol.
Okay.
Then I'm like, but why are we here? No, the security guard was supposed to fill in this document proper. There's no OB number here and there's no signature here. Then I'm like, Commissioner. Oh, and the guy was not on duty. He was just in the gantry there at the vicinity of the employer. Then I'm like, Commissioner, even myself, I don't work there. But whenever I do a visit, whenever I visit to meet the HR manager or to go and prepare something or go and deliver contracts, whatever that I'm going to do there, I also get tested by the gate. Because it's a national key point whereby there can't be any form of risk to be welcome to that place.
Yes.
So I don't really understand. But this guy was, and then also he spoke about procedural fairness. And the commissioner asked, was there a hearing? This guy was given an opportunity to speak? And so now we're going to take the procedural thing out of the way. We're just going to focus on substance. But he was so confused. Everyone was confused. But there was a third guy who was observing. His face looks familiar. I think I know him from somewhere. But you could see he's bending, because now he's just there as an observer. You could see he's bending to talk to me. Because even after the meeting, he said, can't they just look for something for him in KZN, just to place him there? Because and I'm like, you know what, I'll just talk to the HR people. But yeah. So in my view, I'm like, are there people from unions who are inexperienced? Or it's a matter of they just hijacked that case and then try to run away with it?
I think from To answer that question, it really comes down to lawyers and employers' organization representatives, trade union representatives. I think we are all in the same boat in that, from that perspective, in that when you have a client or a member, you have to service them. So the union, the representative often know in his heart this case is not going anywhere, but they're paying a fee. So you must help them. Give them the best shot. So now you must understand, when it comes to litigation, when it comes to, let's say, arbitration now, the starting off point is for both parties to develop a argument, a point of view. And that is your level of attack in this whole process. Now, you may have holes in your argument because it may not necessarily be a sound argument, but you must have a view. And you need to support that. And at the end of the day, your member or your client is paying you. You see, so at the end of the day, people just want to have their day in the court. And
I don't want to stress this long. I want us to get to today's topic as fast as possible. But
today's
important. But there's something that you normally do. You are honest.
I am
honest to your clients, and then whenever there's a loophole on the case and everything, you are honest. You are saying we can go and try, but here are the disadvantages of this, and then here are the loopholes, and then this was not followed, and this was, you remember, Muzan, the independent contractor issue and those kind of things. You are just honest with your clients. You don't promise them heaven and earth, knowing that.
No, we don't. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean I'm going to go to CCMA and just say, I'm Mr. Commissioner, we're wrong here. We have fault. Obviously, you have still your argument and your view, and sometimes you don't say certain things.
You're playing it safe. Okay. Yeah. So, moving to today's topic before
today is an extremely important podcast. If from a, let's say, an arbitration dispute perspective, but even Labour Court litigation and so, the title is the Pre-Arb Minute. Your strategic friend or your biggest mistake? The Pre-Arb Minute, your strategic friend or your biggest mistake? So for those who may not necessarily know what I'm talking about, what is Pre-Arb? I've never heard of Pre-Arb, okay? So when an employee files a dispute with the CCMA, let's say it's a dismissal dispute, CCMA, they are governed by rules. So you get the LRA, which is the law, you get the Code of Good Practice, which is sort of a guideline, apparently, and then you get the actual CCMA rules. Now, the processes at the CCMA is governed and regulated by their own rules. So here we talk about CCMA Rule 20 that actually provides that for arbitration, parties in advance, with other words, before arbitration, need to sit together and decide on what are the issues that we all agree on, what are the issues in dispute, what are the issues we don't agree on. So there's a bit of a list of issues that you need to consult with each other on in terms of the pre-arb conference, as it's called. Let me just see quickly here. Let me just give you an idea of the issues that are typically consulted on, where the parties engage each other on during a pre-arb. So you typically you need to consult on the nature of the dispute, so there's clarification, okay? The means by which the dispute may be settled, how can we settle this dispute? What are the facts that are agreed between the parties? What do we agree on, okay? And then we have the facts that are in dispute, okay? We also have the issues for determination by the CCMA. Okay, so what are the issues they need to decide on? What are the precise relief claimed and calculation of compensation required by the applicant? Sharing and exchange of relevant documents and preparation of bundles. The manner in which evidence will be dealt with. The duty to begin, who's beginning with the arbitration process, because some disputes the employer will start and some disputes the employees will start. Inspection and presence of witnesses. Are there any preliminary points? Will expert evidence be called and will be depend on witness statements? The estimate duration for the arbitration, which we can envision, and then the right to legal representation and the need for an interpreter. So those are basically the elements that parties need to consult on during the pre-arb. But now here's the thing, Chaile. You actually need to be legally represented when you do that pre-arb, because it's a highly strategic document. people are sneaking stuff in there, okay, to catch you out and to lock you into a certain agreement. It's a legally binding document. So the idea of the pre-op is to obviously make the process quicker on the day, so we don't deal with issues necessarily that's common cause that everybody agree on. So if everybody can agree that you worked for 10 years in the company and this was your salary, so then we're not going to fight about that at the CCMA. Yeah. And a legal matter, preliminary point, was the employee in a dismissal dispute? Is there an existence of a dismissal? Does the employer agree that they'd actually dismiss this person? Because if not, then that will become a debate in itself. So in the pre-op, like in this, I'm currently busy with the pre-op process, and they suggested that the employer did dismiss the employee. So I said, no, man, we did. There's no suggestion. We don't disagree on that element. Yes. But the problem is you are bound by this document that you can't now. It also limits you. So it limits you to your argument. So if you say this is the issues in dispute, then that's the issues in dispute.
Those are the only issues that
those are the issues. If you say you agreed on this matter, you can't now go to arbitration and say, oh no, I actually disagree. But you've agreed. You can't say, I'm not guilty to the offense, but in the pre-op you pleaded guilty to the offense. And the thing is, representatives can be very sly when it comes to the way they frame words. Let me give you an example. Okay, I'm going to talk about two examples here, okay? Let's talk about this example quickly that I'm currently busy with, because next week I've got arbitration on a dismissal dispute. So this employee, her lawyer, now we're doing pre-op, but someone doing it on email. So you've got a Word document, he will type in all his views on all these elements, send it to me, and then I will type my views. So under the heading here, facts that are agreed between the parties, he's saying the following, among other things. The respondent, that's the employer, dismissed the applicant, the employee, on the ground of misconduct. No problem, okay? Specifically alleging that she engaged in competing with the employer company and conflict of interest in that. On or about 6 March 2025, the applicant posted an advertisement on her Facebook page which was titled Psychometric Assessment for Recruitment and Career Exploration. It sounds so right, but then I'm like, hold on, I wasn't born yesterday. Okay. So I copied and said, no, this is nonsense. So I went to copy and paste the actual charge from the notice to attend the hearing, which says, competing with a company and conflict of interest. On the 6th of March 2025, we became aware, not you posted something, we became aware that you advertised and shared your personal services for psychometric assessment for recruitment and career exploration on Facebook during business hours. You have a strong professional relationship with the client network. I'm not going to say the name, okay? Through your work in the client, blah, 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 and offering these services to the public without informing the company is seen as a conflict of interest. So they are saying, now this case is really about a certain post that was posted on the 6th of March last year. So we say, no. Because now in their case now, the very next day, she deleted the posts.
But already it was documented.
What do you mean documented?
Like screenshot or something.
Oh yeah. Because you see, her boss is a member on her Facebook page. Okay. So her boss saw it, and somebody else in the company saw it too. So they immediately was alerted to this, made the copies and whatever, and the next day she deleted it. Okay, after being confronted, obviously to create the impression now there's no conflict of interest.
Yes.
But now they're limiting this charge to that post on the 6th of March.
They're just boxing it in.
But for us, first of all, it's a breach of contract. Okay. She's got 2 businesses apparently, and she got approval of her other business according to the procedures of her contract. But this one is. We don't say anything.
Yeah, she did not disclose.
Yeah, because this one is because he's doing that exact same job for her employer.
Oh.
But now the problem is she was charged for on that day. They only became aware that since 2021. She's been posting these advertisements.
Thank God I'm a DJ.
For 4 years.
Thank God I'm a DJ.
And the second element of this is in business hours, because you've got the timestamps. It's all while she's working. She's promoting her own business, which is direct competition with her employer. You see how they can try to manipulate? Because now if I said yes, it sounds right. Oh man, then I can't argue the breach of contract issues. I can't argue the during working hours issues. I can't argue the specifics. I have to focus on one advertisement only that doesn't exist anymore. Second example. I think it was like 2 years ago. Yeah. I did a case, a CCMA case, for the whole year at Secunda. No, that was another case. It was a whole year. This one wasn't the whole year. We had our time at the CCMA. This employee was also dismissed. So he got a lawyer. You attended to conciliation, and I eventually attended to arbitration. So this lawyer also wanted, we need to do a pre-arb. So he also, like this case, now sent his pre-arb through on Word. But in my view, it wasn't really a competent document in terms of, look, it is competent in that it qualifies in terms of the CCMA rules.
Yes.
But it wasn't competent in terms of my expectation of the templates of these documents when it comes to dealing with a lawyer. I expected more. Like in this one I've just read now, all the elements are there. Like in the one I did, the Sakuna, it wasn't all there. So the issues, the fact that we are in agreement was there, and the issue of settlement and the issue of witnesses and who's going to represent, those were the issues, and they were all like on one page. But in that case, now the employee was charged for and dismissed for 6 charges relating to gross negligence and gross dishonesty. So the employee then said, or the legal representative said that under facts in agreement, that the employee pleads not guilty to the charges, and therefore he wants whatever compensation, blah, blah, blah. So I saw it in a Word document, and this is the thing. My view is that employee is guilty on the charges. So I was a bit mischievous, probably, because there where it says I was taking a chance I shouldn't have. I will never do it again. I will never in my life do this again, but it worked out perfectly. So there where it says the employee plead not guilty to all the charges, I took out the not. The employee plead guilty to all the charges, and is only disputing the fairness of the dismissal. And I've just sent it and I then signed the bloody document, the Word document, and sent it back to the guy. And I'm like, if he can now, he's got to open and check now. Open book check there. He cannot change anything. My signature's on it. But he didn't. He didn't even read. He just signed and sent it back to me in PDF format. I'm like, this is going to be good. So on the day at arbitration. So we started or whatever. So as we start, I said, Mr. Commissioner, we have a pre-op minute. I just want to clarify what the issues are. They are pleading guilty on all the charges, and we're only deciding on the fairness of the sanction. And I could see that lawyer is looking down and
melting
and for like 2 minutes he was just looking. And eventually got up and says, yes, Mr. Commissioner, I believe that the hearing was unfair. After the dismissal was, as the sanction was unfair. But I could see him melting under the table. Eventually, under cross-questioning, or when he led the case with his client, he was trying to make a case why he's not guilty. So when I cross-examined the employee, I said, but listen, you agreed you're guilty. He says, no, he doesn't. So I showed him, yeah, he's a pre-op. You say, yeah, I'm guilty. So obviously he doesn't know what the stuff is, you see. And he just looked at his lawyer. And that guy, he was just like snow melting under the table. But you see, this is the thing. You rise and fall by that pre-op. Let me tell you what the
courts are saying.
The courts are saying. So here, I've got a fairly recent judgment, August 2024, the Labour Appeal Court. So in this case, it said Thamsankwa, Mbeje and 12 others, represented by NUPSO, and versus the Department of Health in KZN. So in this case, there was a massive strike. It was a violent strike. I mean, apparently they burned ambulances down and so on. The employer got an interdict from the Labour Court, and they gave 2 ultimatums. A lot of the staff actually then went back to work and got a final written warning. But there's some staff who did not went back to work after the second ultimatum. So they were also then sent disciplinary hearing notices to attend the hearing, and they were ultimately dismissed. So let's go down here. So they lost at the CCMA, they lost at the Labour Court, and they eventually went to the Labour Appeal Court. And there was a pre-arb minute signed, basically saying they are complaining about the harshness of dismissal and inconsistent treatment because the others receive a final written warning. They should also have received a final written warning. But now, in litigation, in arbitration and before the Labour Court and the Labour Appeal Court, they are adamant that they didn't see the second ultimatum, nor are they aware of a notice to attend the hearing. And eventually the court, as a respondent, is just saying, listen, okay, here's the pre-arb minutes. You are attacking harshness of a sanction only. There's nothing in here that speaks about you didn't see the second ultimatum or you didn't see the notice to attend to a hearing or whatever the case may be. And they lost. So this is what the Labour Appeal Court said. The chief objective of the pre-trial conference, this is this pre-arb minute agreement, okay, is to agree on limiting the issues that go to trial. Properly applied, a typical agreement will shrink the scope of the issues to be advanced by the litigants. This means, axiomatically, that the litigant cannot fall back on the broader terms of the pleadings to evade the narrowing effect of the terms of that minute. Necessarily, therefore, the strategic choices made in a pre-trial conference need to be carefully thought through, seriously made, and scrupulously adhered to. It is not open to a court to undo the laces of the straitjacket into which the litigants have confined themselves. Last week, CCMA Durban, I dealt with arbitration. Now, this case has been going literally for 2 years. Okay. So also a dismissal dispute, but now in this case, NUMSA, they filed on behalf of the employee, and we also signed a pre-arb. Pre-arb very basic, but also in that pre-arb, okay, they're challenging the fairness of both procedure and substance. So the procedures they said was relating to the charge. The video that the charge depends on is not the same video that was originally showed to the employee. So he pleaded guilty to the charge in the hearing. But now they are saying, okay, but he pleaded guilty to the wrong evidence, to the wrong video that was shown him. So in my mind, I'm like, that's a substantive issue, not a procedural issue, because procedure at the time was in terms of Schedule 8.4 of the Code of Good Practice. Yes. But anyway, you see that it's a strategic blunder right there. But now in the meantime, they've changed officials. I don't know if why they've changed. Maybe that official at the time was no longer working for the union. I'm not so sure. But here come the new official, who happened to be a commissioner at that very CCMA, I believe, for something, because we had discussions for something like 15 years. And part of the reason why we postponed so much is because we found it difficult to find a commissioner to arbitrate our case who wasn't like this with that official. So eventually we made peace with the commissioner. Okay. Anyway, so when we were there last week, you wanted to bring in this whole issue that this employee, this member of this, is actually a shop steward, and there was no consultation in terms of Schedule 8.4 with the union before they put this kind of hearing, which is not true. There was proper consultations. I mean, we even have reports of where the union agreed the guy was guilty, but he should have received a warning. But we didn't really prepare that argument, okay? Yeah. Because it's not in the pre-arb minutes. So when he raised it, I just like, Mr. Commissioner, objection. Pre-arb minutes, that argument is not in there. So you had to withdraw. Can't attack that.
So, in my view now, this is not only about employees making sure that they have representatives. It's also about those employers who doesn't want to engage with people like us because
we are snakes.
As soon as they face something like this, they won't understand and know. And it can be very difficult for them and for their cases because now they won't understand what is a pre-arb. And you see, that's where we come in.
Yeah. But this is the thing, we are learned. Words means the world to us. We frame things in a way that has look right. But technically, it's not right.
My mentor, around 2015, when I started doing this, from the very lowest level, when he was starting to hoy me in this go to the CCMA without knowing what is that I'm going to do there. He once taught me that you must pay attention into details.
Yes, you have.
There was this one case.
I wonder who that guy was. Anyway.
There was this one case he did. I was shocked. He even checked the weather for the day because the person was claiming that she was fetching her jacket from the bag because there was stolen alcohol or something. And then he went on check the weather. Then I'm like, this guy, how does he think about this kind of things? And then he went to check the weather. His name and nonsense. You can't have a jacket on this day because it was 30%.
Yeah.
It was hot, extremely hot on the
Because
day.
in the argument, if I remember correctly, she said it was cold, so she went to fetch a jacket. But on the day, it was like in the middle of the summer, it was like 40 degrees or something like that. Cold.
So I think the moral of the story is that paying attention into details also is very important because once you miss one detail, like the charge, you see now, you paid attention into details with the charge because now it was now moved around, but you copied the original charge and pasted that to show that.
But there was other things in there too. And I'm like, yeah. Come on, let's focus. I always say the point, not yeah. You're not gonna
the
catch
sun
me
is
out.
not blue, the sky is not red.
But you know, Chaile, this podcast can actually make people feel in limbo a bit because what do I do now? Because now you're an employee, you don't have a representative, there's this pre-arb or they want to have a pre-arb or you're an HR somewhere or an employer somewhere, but you're not legally trained, so what the heck now? So if there's one tip they can maybe take from this, and I've seen this and I've seen how this saves people at arbitration. If somewhere in there, just make sure there's a sentence there that says, and any other matter that may be relevant or argued at the time. It sort of opens this whole...
So that box, it cuts it open so that...
Because remember, there's two purposes of the pre-arb. The one is to narrow down the issues. So we don't sit and argue about nonsense, you see. But secondly, it's also a strategic document. So that sentence where you say, and any other relevant matter that we may argue at or may find relevant at the time of the arbitration, it sort of eliminates that strategic element where another party will try to lock you into their version. Because then you can, and I've seen this where people start arguing about the meaning of that word in any other relevant matter, and then it's like the commission will say, look, it sort of opens the floor, doesn't it?
No, but it is a great one. It's a great one,
But anyway, that's it.
Okay, job reviews. I even saw this morning jobs are flooding.
Jobs are flooding every day.
Yeah.
So in the Harmony People Network, there are jobs
must
everywhere.
Check job reviews and then apply for the jobs. Okay, thank you very much, Toby. That
Awesomeness.
was a very nice one. Thank you very much for watching. See you.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, Harmony people. Let's have a look at some of the vacancies posted nationwide on our Harmony People's Network this week. First up, the Public Service Sector Education and Training Authority needs to employ a suitably qualified manager, skills planning and research on a fixed-term contract. A well-established manufacturing company based in KZN is seeking an experienced mid-senior level IT professional. Tats Mining has an opening for a senior HR manager, and Harmony People Network is looking for a highly organized, people-centric community manager who thrives on structure, engagement and delivery. Someone who can run the engine behind our membership experience. For the full information of the mentioned positions, how to apply, as well as more available positions, find the vacancy link in the description. You will also find a link to a useful video on how to compose a winning CV and have a successful interview. Tune in again next week for more Harmony vacancies.